Alright everyone, we have reached Tuesday evening, which means that we are now around about 4 days away from kick-off on Saturday at Hampden Park, Celtic versus Inverness Caledonian Thistle for the Scottish Cup. It's the final time we will see Celtic in action this season, but it could well be the most glorious yet. If we do come out on top, it will be another treble. Our first, though, under Ange Postecoglou. As I say, we have won a lot of them recently. But I was thinking back to the last time we won a treble in front of fans. And you do have to go all the way back to 2019 for that. So, God, we are living through an amazing period of Celtic dominance, aren't we? We are favourites for the game on Saturday. Overwhelming favourites, but as Joe Hart said to us at the weekend there, it's a final and anything can happen. I guess Ange Postecoglou would have a very similar viewpoint to that as well, and the players are going to have to be on their game because if we don't, and we don't come out on top, it's going to be a massive, massive missed opportunity. We are going to be massive favourites, as I say, and we're going to have the vast, vast majority of Hampden Park. I was intrigued by a report that came out, I think yesterday, that Inverness have shifted as few as 6,000 tickets for the final. That means that Hampden Park could look something like this on Saturday evening, with all of those green areas, unsurprisingly, for Celtic fans, and that, 7 or 8 sections there, kind of at the bottom left, of Inverness Caledonian Thistle fans. It is going to be like a home game for us, and hopefully that fills everyone with even more confidence that it will be our day. We've got time to kind of warm up to this game. We will have a big preview for you on Friday, the final preview of the season, of course, as well. And then after the game, we'll have the final reaction as well. It's fair to say that the Saturday just past there has lifted everyone's mood a wee bit, or maybe a fair bit. I really didn't enjoy that kind of period after we clinched the league at Tynecastle all the way up until Saturday. I didn't know how to feel about it. I know it's very easy to kind of look back now at those games and go, yeah, they didn't matter. And to be fair, I did kind of make that point after most of them. But it still was a wee kind of tricky period for this Celtic team to come through. And it seems like we have. I mean, it was just one game on Saturday, but if we can come out on top this Saturday against Inverness, then I really don't think we'll be looking back at that game at all. Injury-wise, we haven't touched on this since Saturday. There were some concerns over Alistair Johnson and Kyogo Furuhashi following the weekend, but Ange seems to have moved to ease those fears after full time. He joked saying that Kyogo would need to be missing 2 legs not to make the game, a wee reference to the Hibs League Cup final last season when he was effectively on 1 leg, Ange says, and still won the game for us like he so often does. And also that Alistair Johnson was jumping around the Celtic Park changing room after the game, celebrating another trophy. So that's positive. Now, Liel Abada also injured. I'm asking, did I imagine that? Because I searched it earlier, Liel Abada Celtic injury on Google, and got no recent results, which was kind of strange. He did come off at half time, and I feel like I heard Ange saying something about it, but who knows. Sead Haksabanovic, the other notable player, he of course missed the weekend. We did see him on the pitch at full time. Not sure if I expect to see him back for Saturday, to be honest. He certainly wouldn't start the game, I wouldn't think. CCV obviously won't be back either, but we did get a good positive update from Larry Henry Jr. on Twitter yesterday, saying that he would be back for the start of the new season. Whether that is pre-season or not, I'm not sure. I could probably just text him and find out, given that we're such good buddies now. It is a month now since CCV last played for the club, a month exactly, so that already seems like a very wise decision to have ended his season nice and early. Got him for that surgery almost immediately, and he's now been on the mend for a good few weeks. And yeah, we're still in this season. He's going to be able to rest over the summer, not for too long, but a fair chunk of time, and is hopefully going to come back, hopefully for pre-season, nice and early, but if not, certainly for the start of the competitive stuff. So that's kind of the injury stuff there. In terms of other stuff today, not a great deal. It does feel very much like the calm before the storm, although I do hope that it's not stormy on Saturday. Some weather like what we're experiencing at the moment in Scotland would be appreciated on Saturday if you're listening. Don't know who I'm addressing that to. But yeah, I do want to chat a wee bit about the UEFA Champions League, as the headline to this video would suggest, because next season's group stage, which is the last of its kind before they go to this kind of single league system from the start of the following season, is filling up very nicely. And of course, Celtic are one of the now 25 clubs who have automatically qualified. So yeah, this is what it looks like right now. We've got the graphics going again. As you can see, England's 4 there are sorted. Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United, and the kind of unlikely Newcastle United, but very deserving of their place there under that man right there, Eddie Howe. If any Newcastle fans want to buy this, give me a shout. Elsewhere in Spain, some likely contenders there. Barcelona, the champions, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad. Italy has the champions there, Napoli, Lazio, Inter and AC Milan. Germany have the champions there, Bayern Munich, ahead of the perennial bottlers, Borussia Dortmund. A team familiar to us, of course, RB Leipzig, and Josip Juranovic's FC Union Berlin. In France, again, Paris Saint-Germain, the champions there, and the unlikely Lens, or Lens, if you come from Scotland. Portugal, we have Porto and Benfica. In the Netherlands, Feyenoord are the champions there. They're the only team automatically in from that country. Austria has Red Bull Salzburg, of course. Scotland has Celtic, and only Celtic at this stage. Serbia has Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena, and Ukraine has Shakhtar Donetsk. On top of that, we will have the winner of the Europa League qualifying this Wednesday. That's between Roma and Sevilla. Neither of those two have qualified through their league, so they will take the Europa League position. And if you are wondering about the old Paul Potts and which one Celtic will find themselves in, then it is extremely likely that it will be pot 4 for ourselves. That's where we were this season. Our coefficient is not great. I think we're at 31 points over the last 5 seasons, which is really not great, certainly at UEFA Champions League group stage level. There are actually only 3 of the sides on screen there who have a worse coefficient than us, and they are kind of the obvious ones. Newcastle United, who, well, I can't remember the last time they were in Europe, Union Berlin and Lens. So that kind of sums up where we are at the moment in terms of Europe, and it's really something that we need to try and work on, away from all of the kind of benefits of being the Champions League and the the money coming in and the prestige and the great nights at Celtic Park. We really need to start picking up results in Europe, and it may become harder and harder because from the season after next there's no drop down into the Europa League. So if we qualify for the Champions League by winning next season's title, then we'll be in the Champions League until we're eliminated, and we won't drop into any other competition. So it might become quite difficult for us to get points, but hopefully that's where Ange is taking the team. So basically, as I say, 3 teams with a worse coefficient than is in there, meaning that we need 5 of the 6 teams who will come through the summer qualifiers to have a worse coefficient for us to be in pot 3. That would mean that we'd need big shocks in qualifying, and lots of them. So it's unlikely, but of course the main thing is that we are in the Champions League. We've got that to look forward to. The draw, I believe, is on the final day of August. So we have got all of June, all of July and all of August. A good time to wait before then. We can kind of look at the proper groups once they're kind of confirmed and have a better idea of who we could face, etc. Finally, just to finish, a few shout outs for a couple of people that I met on Saturday. First of all, a shout out to Thomas from Caber Installation, who I met on Saturday. Lovely guy. And we've also got Toby, who is a great guy. That's all I've got written down. Don't take offence, Toby. I actually can't remember who you were. I was chatting to that many people, and the El Vino did flow, let's just say. But I've got down that you're a great guy. Maybe you wrote that, maybe I did, but I'll take your word for it anyway. Lovely to meet you, mate. Lovely to meet everyone. And we'll be back on Friday when we're going to look ahead properly to the Scottish Cup final.